Hi, this is Nancy L.T. Hamilton, and I have an exciting treat for you today, but I may not tell it to you. Anyway, I have a guest artist and a crazy friend of mine named Sugar, who is going to be showing us something that she's going to tell you about. So welcome back. I hope you all had a great new year, and one little shameless self-promotion here. I was working with Craftsy recently, and my video will be released this winter, so look for it, okay?
Hi, I'm her crazy friend Sugar, and today I'm going to show you about fusing metals together. I'm not a big fan of solder, so I've developed a fusing method that uses no solder for both sterling and copper.
She's good.
So to start off, I choose my metal. Usually I work with copper or sterling for the back plate, and then you can take whatever size you want of that. And then I use scrap metal, usually sterling silver, like this, and we can reuse it in this technique. And then not only can you use your scraps, but you don't have to use solder. So, in order to do this, I prep my silver. Sometimes I like to use the balls, so I'll ball this up ahead of time. I use squiggles a lot. I'm known for squiggles, so here's some squiggles. And then later on we'll get into just using plain scrap without doing anything to it. So I've already prepared these balls, and I'm doing this on the sterling silver. You can use flux, and you're supposed to use flux, but being a short person, I take shortcuts, and that is one of my shortcuts because you actually don't need the flux. So I take these pieces and put them on top of the copper, however it is that I want them to melt. I call my art Rorschach art because everybody sees something a little different in it, and so once I do this, you can see what you see in it. I'm going to start up the torch. Now you want to heat the whole base of the metal. You don't want to just get those little pieces because you want it all to melt at the same time. So I'm just heating it all up. Now you're starting to see it melt a little bit, and that's when you really want to start watching it. So you can see when it flows together and fuses together. And it's starting, you can see it now, it's sort of, there we go, and that's pretty much it. That's sterling on sterling. Now this copper, I placed those. The silver is going to melt faster than the copper, so I'm going to heat up this back copper plate. A lot of times I'll even heat up the copper before I throw the scrap metal on, and I'll show you that in the next demo. So once again, you watch for that silver to fuse onto the base metal, and you can see it when it does. And there you go. And it's as easy as that. It is all fused together now without solder. So the next one I'm going to show you, it's a form of reticulation. It's basically what we did before, but it's taking it to a higher melting point. So you get a melted, reticulated look. It's not an actual reticulation, but it's pretty much the same thing. So I wind up going through scraps and then pulling out some pieces. I'll cut them up with tin snips into little pieces, and it really doesn't matter for this what form they're in because I'm going to take them and melt them down so much that you won't even see the shape that I'm doing. So for this reticulated one, I will come in and I will heat up my copper just a little bit before I put the sterling pieces on it, just to give it a hot base to go. And then I'll just throw little pieces. It really doesn't matter what they look like. I just throw them on there because I'm going to pretty much melt them and reticulate it onto this once it's melted, the silver is going to follow the flame. And I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm going to melt it all down here. So now, if you see, I can bring it all around this piece because it will follow the flame. Now, the more I do this, we're going to get deep valleys and crevices, and it will look like a beautiful piece of reticulation. So I never know what type of design I'm going to get. I'll quench this after doing that. See how hot that was? So I would clean it with this steel wool, and then afterwards you get lots of definition and texture on the piece. Because I use the copper, I like after that, I like to color it. So I would put it back on the charcoal, get my torch out again. Now, with coloring, I'm not trying to do I'm not trying to melt it, I'm not trying to get it that hot. I'm gonna hit it and take it away and watch it slowly change colors. So I play with it, because once you take the torch off, as it cools down, it changes colors itself. See, now you're getting where the copper is you get pretty colors. And then what I would do once I colored the piece, oh, there we go. See how that's changing colors? And then I would turn it off and I would wait until it finished coloring itself as it cools down. And then I might come back through with the steel wool and shine up some of the silver just to give it different layers of color and texture, and some shiny, some not. Then I would finish the edges or decide what I'm going to make with this piece, because basically I have now made a piece of sheet metal that I can use in my jewelry. And that is how I fuse metal together. So after this, I would finish edges and I would decide what I'm doing with this. This is going to turn into a pendant for Lisa. You can't see her because she's behind the camera, but we're going to turn this into a pendant. So I would do the edges and do something fancy. It will turn into something. Here is a great example of fusing. This bracelet was all fused. The only solder was in this particular bezel setting. But besides that, I did all of that without any solder. And that's all sterling silver. That's sterling on sterling. So these are the things that you can do without solder. Because once again, I don't like solder. Well, Nancy, it's been so much fun being able to play in your studio. I want to do it more often.
$5 an hour. Sugar. Mwah! I love my sugar. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your fabulous skills with us. You made a beautiful piece, and Lisa scored because I think she's getting that necklace.
She is.
So stay tuned for the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. And keep watching, because we're going to always do fun stuff. It's weird over here.
I'll probably be back.
High five. Good work.
Oh shit, I had exactly how I was going to turn it back on, but you just talked it out of me.
I'm sorry.
It just disappeared.
It's not my fault you're senile.
All right, I'll think of something quick.
Don't ever come back.
Okay.
That would work
Give
well.
me another.
Shug. Thanks.
Sure. Hi, I'm her
Say hi, Papa.
We're gonna make jewelry
Oh
today.
my God.
Sorry.
Cut.